Hello, everyone. If you're watching the replay, please do all the things like share, subscribe, follow, whatever platform you are on. And go ahead and fast forward if you don't want to hear me chit chat for the first several minutes until everyone starts to really file in and we actually begin the reading. So we'll just give everyone a few minutes to come in. And I don't know if Matt's going to be watching the replay or if he's joining us live, but if you're watching the replay, Matt, I still haven't figured out how to unblock you from Restream because the instructions are totally crap.
Can you go outside?
Yes, you can. So, hi, Holly. If you see Matt in here, just tell him watch from YouTube if he wants to comment because I still haven't been able to figure out how to unblock him since last week's accidental blocking. So, I'm going to figure it out. But like, there's no chat settings anywhere that I can find them. Cutting salad, nice. It's going well, just, the normal crap. Hey, Anna, good to see you. I'm doing well, just very busy lately. So much like popping off with things needing repair and needing replacement and fixing up stuff at home. So, yeah, it's, you know, life stuff. Hey, Susan. If you guys see Matt join on Facebook, let him know that I can't, I haven't been able to unblock him yet. So if he wants to comment, to do it from YouTube, because it's not going to show, at least it's not going to show me his comments. So Matt just commented, yeah, I'm not seeing his comment. It might just block it from me being able to see it from Restream. But everyone else might be able to see his comments. So, Matt, if you're here, pop over to YouTube. I'm still working on figuring out how to unblock you. Yeah, okay. So you guys can see his comments, but I can't. How does that work? I don't know. I went through all the settings, and I even I don't use Google, but I use DuckDuckGo. So I use DuckDuckGo to like figure out how to do it, and the instructions they gave me, like the settings were not there. So they must be working off of a previous form of Restream because they have been doing a lot of updates. So bear with me, y'all. I'm just trying to hang on. Holly just replied to his comment. Yeah, it's not showing them to me at all. So I don't know. I looked in the help tab and it has nothing listed on how to unblock someone, a viewer that you accidentally blocked. So I'm working on it. It's just a pain in the ass, like every fucking thing right now, though, right? Kristen says she can. Oh, thank you, Susan. Yeah, you can comment from YouTube. It'll let him comment from YouTube because the Facebook one is the one I accidentally blocked last week. So, and it didn't give me an undo option. You guys saw it in real time. It did not give me the option to undo that. So I was like, ah. Anyway, we're here in some form or another, right? Crazy shit popping off worldwide. Props to Albania for holding it down, for not allowing the T rumps to go ahead and do whatever the hell they want and take their last natural um, refuge for plant and animal species. So let's all cheer for Albania. And when the fuck is the US going to get on board with that energy? Like, I've been waiting, I've been watching, I've been observing, and I'm like, I'm in the sticks, you guys. Like, nothing is happening near me. But I use my mouth in the grocery store. You know, unsuspecting people get to hear my opinions. Just in, by passing by me. I have some uh, friends slash extended family friends that work at the grocery store, so we get into discussions. And I do it in front of people that look like they are white supremacist, fucking fascist idiots. So we all do our part, right? We do our part. And I'll talk right here. You guys get to hear me. So congratulations. But yeah, it's expect a lot to happen over a short period of time coming up, okay? Don't get all into the panic and the fear or anything like that. But in order for revolution to take place, the people must be up to their, up to their asses in just frustration, anger, oppression. So, um, you know, the white people aren't oppressed enough. And I'm talking as a semi white person here. They're not oppressed enough. Okay. So, tight squeezes. Albania is where Ellie and I are thinking to move to now. Best and easiest country to get into. That's awesome. I'm blocking them in Restream chat. If you accidentally click the block mute button next to their name in the Restream chat window or Restream Studio, you can reverse it in your dashboard settings. I've looked in my dashboard settings, girl. There's like a few places where settings are, both in the stream and on just my dashboard. There are no chat settings, so I will continue to search those out and find how to unmute Matt. Hello, Lori. Nice to see you, love. Glad to have you here. All right, let's get into it because I can continue my bitching about, observations of the state of things in this plane. Okay, so bottom of the deck with the tarot, Ace of Swords in the reverse, you guys. Okay, this is manipulation. This is fear tactics. This is confusion. This is, on the verge of things really coming to light, being very apparent, very obvious, so that, even the most tightly squeezed eyelids can be forced to actually open them and look at what is happening, not just to the collective, but how they're also being directly impacted. Just like what I was talking about, white people are not oppressed enough yet, obviously, because if we were, then there would be a bigger movement. There are people that are, boots to the ground, who are causing movements, who are speaking out, who are bringing awareness to a lot of things that are going on right now. But as we know, this shift has to be a collective, led type of thing, right? We're moving away from, oh, we need a leader. We need someone to save us, to speak for us, to give us instructions on how to live our day-to-day lives, tell us what's right and what's wrong, and what we should and shouldn't do, the lawmakers, etc., right? That works for who specifically? Who does that work for? That works for the ones who are creating the laws, okay? This works for those who have the financial capacity to thwart laws or to bend them or to circumvent them in whatever ways so that they don't get caught up by the same legal or justice system that the rest of the population is forced to be controlled by. Okay. The powers that were. I love that, Anna. Yes, girl, I'm going to highlight that. I love that so much. The powers that were, not the powers that be. Exactly, because they done lost their power. Like, T-Rump, the orange tangerine fucking taco guy, is showing his ass, showing his dementia, he farted. Like, in that fucking press meeting the other day, where he was MIA, gone completely, dropped off the face of the earth for about a week. He sharted himself, and like I saw the clip. I don't know if somebody like put it in there and then like it's fake type stuff, but it seems pretty real to me. Okay, so his hot air is deflating. Okay, his big ego is being impacted left and right. daily. Okay, his birthday might be put on hold. The huge ugly UFC octagon in the fucking White House lawn, you guys, that whole thing may actually be put a stop to it, because a veteran filed with the judicial courts to try to have that stopped, because it's utterly ridiculous, y'all. um, has his name taken off of the Kennedy Center finally, and a judicial ruling. Like, there are so many hits that this guy's ego is taking, and it's pissing him off, right? So you're going to see him retaliating verbally, with our armies that are now, a law just passed to fuse our military with Israel's military. So, like, all of this stuff is coming out in the open. The CIA is completely, severed from him because of all of the bullshit. So, like, there's a lot going on. If you're not paying attention, if you're not watching the news, I'm just going to give you kind of like a brief summary, because I have been paying attention lately. I have been observing. I have been, because you guys know that I've felt this building, for months now. Like, I have not been on Facebook. I just don't want any part of it. Like, it, trying to open the app, even just like, my body is like, icky. So, um, I've been feeling a lot. Okay. So Eden has been patrolling City Fair and a park was getting her payment for free. That's what we did last night. Oh, that's cool, Susan. I love that. Tell Eden congratulations. We all support her. So, things are really starting to noticeably pop off. Okay. So when this happens, there's this whole chain reaction. There are, when a little tiny man with a big, huge ego and, uh, tiny dick syndrome is going to lash out. Those toxic masculines, they always do, right? Especially when their ego is bruised. So, um, again, not trying to cause fear or panic or anything like that, but expect things to escalate when it comes to the tiny orange man. Um, and he's been impacting everywhere in the world since his seating in the presidency. So, I'm not a political person. You guys know this. I'm all for human rights, for civil rights, for, we, not the systems that have enslaved all of humanity and some, facets of humanity to a much higher degree than others. And I'm talking skin colors here. I'm talking religious associations here, right? All of these stupid rules and societal chains are before they are, one has to see it on full display. Okay, there is no avoiding this. And we're part of this collective. Yeah, we can see it sooner. Yeah, we saw all of this sooner. Yeah, we already know how the new earth should operate, but we can't fully implement those things until the old world is crumbled, until it has fallen. So that's what we are in the process of witnessing at this time, and it's causing a lot of fear, a lot of panic, a lot of anger, a lot of emotions. We need those emotions to surface. Just like we talked about last week, you're going to be feeling triggered, you're going to be, highly emotional whenever you see certain things happening. And it's, the point is not to spiritually bypass, right? We've talked a lot with our own shadow work. We've talked about spiritual bypassing and being authentic and so on and so forth, right? So, I'll see your comment in just a minute, Anna. So we don't bypass on our own shadow work, on our own healing journeys, right? We know that's a big no-no. That's just going to loop us back into the same, pattern. So what we have to do here is get fucking pissed off, get irate, get upset, get sad for the children who are being slaughtered in the name of justice and, national security for whatever country you're in. I know all of us are from many different countries all around the world, and I just love that. Um, we all have to see it. This is a worldwide event. When something this impactful happens, it's going to impact everyone. Okay. There is no escaping this. We will all be impacted. And we need to, as those who have done the spiritual work, hey, Katie, those who have done the healing work, those who have been working on ourselves for years now, who have seen these injustices and atrocities and spoken about them and, tried to bring awareness and tried to fix ourselves without bypassing all of those emotions. Now it's time for us to perform that job that we perfected in our own healing journeys to the greater collective. So we're going to have to purge all of those emotions. We're going to have to feel all of the things that don't feel good, that are torturous to observe and to feel. Because without feeling them, they cannot be healed. You have to feel it to heal it, right? That's where we are as a collective. So, every single one of us is going to be personally impacted by what is happening with the collective. There's no escaping it. It's now time for you to do exactly what you've been practicing for years now in your own personal healing journey applied collectively. Okay. I'm working on my abundance with some crypto investments and I'm getting my ass out of here. Unfortunately, so many are still asleep or ignoring the truth. Met my sister today and she's pretty much wants to bury her head in the sand and focus on herself and family, which I respect but still makes me sad because she got a jab and I have a vast info on what to do to detox. Even I am detoxing due to, I know I may have got the shedding from others, but no jabs because my higher self said no effing way back then. And that's going to be one of the most difficult parts of this because there are people that are trying to squeeze their eyes shut and not open them, not see what's going on. They can sense it, they can feel it. Okay, we human beings are directly connected to the source, even far removed. If they've been kind of on this wheel of reincarnation for so long, they are still connected, they're just very far away. So that gives them more of the ability to bury their heads into the sand, to not look at the problem, to not face what's going on. Whereas people like us, we can't not see it. We can't not look at it, right? We can't not feel it. There's no possible way we could turn away from what's happening. Um, and there's a lot of friendships, a lot of familial connections, a lot of connections that are going to be casualties of this shift, right? Because there are those, because like Dolores talked about, is the splitting, the 3D to the 5D is how people understand it. Not everyone can go with us, right? Not everyone can come with me. Not everyone can come with you. And we can love them. We can still place protections. We can still, hold space for them to become consciously aware of things and for them to also shift for them to also heal what they need to heal in order to step into this greater collective unity. Absolutely. But not everyone's going to be doing that. And that's their own decision. That's their own soul's journey. If their soul didn't need to experience that, then they wouldn't have chosen that direction, right? So all we can do is support one another. All we can do is love one another and love our loved ones, those who we had close relationships with or familial ties to. We can still hold that space for them, but we know we can't intervene on anyone else's path. We can't make decisions for anyone else. So this is, the really difficult part for all of us. But again, we've all had some practice leading up to this point. Hey, Kara. With our own healing journeys, we have had to say goodbye to people that we once really deeply loved and cared for. And even though still we do deeply love and care for them, it's different, right? The energy shifted, things are different. We're no longer in communication. My entire family, disowned me. So like, And before that, you guys know that I had to cut off a lot of really important friendships and familial ties and all of these things across my own journey, right? So we've had the experience. It does not mean that it's not going to hurt, but it just means that we've done this before, we're doing it again. And don't worry about those who are kind of, it seems from our perspective, left behind. We don't want to leave anyone behind. That's not what's happening. They're not being left behind. They are taking their own side quest, their own detour, their own path and journey for their own soul's evolution. So that serves a purpose for also those who are awakening, those who are, online and see what's going on, and it serves as a lesson for us, or a what if I had chosen to keep my head buried in the sand, what if I had chosen to look away, hi Suzanne, um, what if I had chosen not to walk the path that I'm on now. That's what it could be like. That in itself is encouragement for us to keep going, because we don't want to go back there, right? So everyone plays their role, right? Everyone is serving their own purpose, and there are those that will try to remain unawakened, that serve their role and actually volunteered for that role to the awakened and the ones who are awakening, you know higher and further on their path. So it doesn't necessarily mean, oh, they're now, because they chose this thing, now they're going to have to incarnate on another horrific 3D focused planet and all of those things. That's not necessarily true. Some souls choose to be unawakened in this existence, in this experience, because their teammate, that would be the one who is soul family no matter what, and that's why you feel such a strong connection to them. They're going to go ahead and in this life look like they're stuck behind, just to propel you further on your path. And then when everything is said and done and you get back together on the other side, they're not incarnating to they've already mastered all of those lessons, but they chose to go in and serve as that counterweight, so to speak, so that you could actually advance on your path, so that you could really achieve what you set out for yourself to achieve in your own path and purpose. So, and yes, some people are only with us for a season. Sometimes it's a long season, sometimes it's a blip, but it doesn't mean that they were less impactful. Just like, I'm going to bring it up right now because I saw this person on, as a suggested person to me on TikTok, because yes, I've been watching things. Kale came up as a suggested person. I saw a video put out by them. I don't know what they're doing right now. I didn't pay attention. I just saw it and blocked it immediately. Went to the profile and blocked that immediately because personal reasons. So even though all of that happened, and what I gathered from this video is they're not really doing anything similar to the spiritual stuff that they had started out on for a minute. I don't know if that's what they're still doing. I don't follow them. I don't pay any attention to anyone else's business. That's their business, not mine. This is just what I gathered from a brief 3-second blip that it took me to actually block this person, because I saw that they had access to me on another platform. But I paused and I'm like, man, I'm so grateful for this person, because you guys know, I've said it over and over again, I never would have done what I'm doing now, live for you guys, doing podcasts before, and now my weekly lives, I'm not doing as much as I was before, but I still wouldn't be doing what I'm doing now had it not been for Kale urging me and pushing me, your messages need to be seen, people need to connect with you, you need to do this, let's do a podcast. I would never. Okay. So I still have immense gratitude for that person and for the version of them that I was connected to, though briefly, for a brief season. It was literally a season, 2 or 3 months, right? So I am still very grateful for that connection, for what it served in my life at that time, because now look at where I am. Now look at our tribe. Now look at the connections we've been, making and sustaining over this period of time. Look at it, so I am going to be forever grateful for that person. But, the severed connection, like, does not functionally feed either one of us in a positive way to be connected to one another. There's, like, we don't do obsession, okay? Um, you did the cutting off. Yeah, I cut off a lot of people too, Matt. But yeah, just people grow apart. Sometimes they cut you off, sometimes you cut them off, and sometimes it's a mutual thing. You know what I mean? So we are meant to kind of be plunged into this uncertainty, like with AI, for example, right? You see videos or pictures and things, and you're like, is that real though? Because it's kind of hard to tell nowadays because of AI, right? So there's this purposeful misdirection that's happening, misinformation that's been happening the entire time, but it's ramped up. And oh, I love you, Anna. Thank you. So yeah, let's just have a moment of thanks for Kale, even though Kale will never ever return to my personal space again. I very much appreciate them for pushing me into doing something that I wouldn't have done otherwise, which got me all of you. So I am forever grateful. So we have to have this like wool pulled over our eyes to force us to think harder for ourselves, right? To really connect more dots for ourselves, because all of this information is out there, whether it's true or not. All of the information is just out there floating around, and it's jumbled, and people have all these opinions, and you see like these spikes and dips and emotion off the fucking chain. um it has to be confusing. This is purposeful. Okay. It has to be confusing so that you will start critical thinking. You will develop those critical thinking skills. You will discern for yourself. We've talked about discernment for so long, right? So you have to develop that sharp discernment so that you can truly see Ace of Swords in the upright, right? You can have these revelations, you can have revolution, this is where everything starts to shift and change for real. So that we can walk away from the shit that no longer serves us, that never served us to begin with. I have to let Lyra in, or else she's going to keep like thrusting her body against my door and screaming at me. Come on, baby girl, get in here. Okay. Because at first she'll just kind of like knock and push the door with her paw, and then she'll go into like full body shoulder check in the door. Crazy animals, right? Okay, so we have to have all of this deceit, all of this ugliness, all of this uncertainty, all of these facts, whether true or false. No, sis, no, you cannot come up here. I'm reading. Thank you. She wants to make herself known. So that we can walk towards what actually fulfills us, what actually, is sustainable and functional for everyone, not just this select group who think that their bloodlines are the purest and they deserve to rule and inherit and, plunder and whatever it is that they're going to do. The spell is broken. That's what they do. Dark magic spells. That's why they use blood rituals. That's why, they have these secret societies. That's why they keep everything shrouded away from the masses, because they want to be the only ones that are, that know about magic and truly believe in it, and create these spells to continue to imprison everyone else, so that we can all serve their egos, their purpose, whatever they decide that might be, right? It has to get bad before we start to take action to make it better, because humanity has been, with the laws of non-interference between the extra and ultra terrestrials and ourselves, right? They, from their perspective, they view this is what we've chosen this entire time. We've chosen to be, they be greedy. We've chosen to be enslaved and perpetuate that cycle. Like, if we didn't like it, then we would have put a stop to it, because there's more of us than there is of them, right? Wrong. with the mind control and the manipulation and all of this crazy shit that they've done, and gotten people so deeply programmed that they believe whatever they're fed by their oppressors. That's not free will choice, right? That's conditioning towards an intended outcome. So it's had to get so much worse, and this is why we don't have intervention from, outside sources. They're just hovering in our atmosphere, right? They're watching. We've incarnated to physically, you know experience this and be awake enough so that we can change our mind, because we come in programmed, right? We come through that veil and we're immediately programmed from day one. um, but we have less of that veil, that filter, because we're fresh off the ships, right? We're fresh off the other planes of existence. We have not been programmed, you know meticulously, ritualistically, lifetime after lifetime after lifetime after lifetime after lifetime, countless times. We come in and we're like, we may be shrouded for a little bit, but we're still questioning the whole time. And then we really awaken, and then we start to speak with others, and we start to help others to awaken. That's what this is. Like, consciousness is contagious. Okay. They can't stop it. Yes, mass hypnosis and confusion. So that's why there are star seeds who volunteer to come into a body and experience this, so that we can, like, easier make that connection, like, none of this is okay, none of this is right, and that way we can rise up and actually choose different. But this is what it looks like after so much oppression and enslavement, for millennia. Okay. And then we're breaking that mold, we're breaking that curse, we're breaking their spell. It's going to be ugly, because they're going to try to throw even more dark magic at it. They're going to try to throw even more oppression at it. They're going to throw G-side. They're going to throw everything they possibly can to scare the populace into, okay, never mind, it's too dangerous. We're just going to go ahead and submit. And, no, absolutely the fuck not. We're rebels, right? You can't stop that rebel spirit. And that is why my business is named what it is, and why my channels are named what they are, after a few times under different names. So mine's always been the same. Mine has always been the same. So it's going to be ugly, is the point we're getting at. And that's the point, that we're at the apex. Like, we're at the apex. It's going to get harder, but not as much as some people might think. Okay, so it's going to get more oppressive. We're going to have more of these wacky laws. We're going to have, because they don't want divine feminine to take over, right? So that's why they are aiming their sights at women's rights in every capacity they possibly can right now. Like, collectively, there was a study recently done over all of the countries of Gaia at this point, have been, they've done studies that reflect that women's rights this is the lowest point that they've been since, like, the 60s. So we are Jedi. So of course they're going to try to strip all of this. They're trying to, the red pill men, they have all these podcasts about how awful women are, and how they should be barefoot pregnant in the kitchen all the time, and how they should submit to and serve man. And man can, beat them up or unalive them or do whatever the fuck they want, because women are only property. Like, they're trying to re-inject and perpetuate this lie, because they do not want the divine feminine, the matriarchy, to rise again. So they're just going to throw everything they possibly fucking can. And yes, there are a lot of people that are going with that, and this is where we see the split, right? The lower consciousness and higher consciousness. There's a lot that are going along with that rhetoric. And, like, no matter how ridiculous and just utterly preposterous all of that is, they're still going along with it. That's a choice, But there are others who maybe were kind of slightly starting to awaken or approaching their awakening. And with all of this, whether they're male or female, does not matter, gender, they're awakening. They're like, what the fuck is happening? Like, no, absolutely not. So, it is kind of working both ways. It's helping to further make that split very apparent. Um, but again, it's necessary for our evolution. Evolution has never been easy. Okay. So we are tearing down the veil. Um, have you seen the threats that they're allowing into the UK, and the police message to everyone in case of an armed terrorist attack, basically saying run away and hide, and the fuckers, and letting them in. Yeah. So a lot of that has to do with isn't real. Same things happening. Like there are rumors of terrorist activity taking place in the U.S. because of the FIFA World Cup stupid shit. Like I don't pay attention to sports, but this is a thing. Obviously, if I'm spitting it out, and that may very well happen, and they are withholding people, like these sports people, athletes, whatever you call them, from other countries from even entering the U.S. to compete in the World Cup. Like that's the purpose they're here. We're supposed to be hosting that shit here, and they're not letting a lot of these people in. Whether that's the athletes themselves, one of the photographers for one of the teams, like managers and things like that, coaches, whatever. They're being denied entry. There's all this. I mean, they're being questioned for like 10 hours at the airport them onto American soil. It's just absolutely insane. But they're manufacturing all of this, trying to get us to manifest this utter chaos, and they're probably also going to be planting themselves to cause these terroristic type events to pop off. Like things are happening, you guys. Um, Thank you, Anna. Matt, actually, he just posted a comment on YouTube, a couple comments. Yeah, creating a problem, then offering a solution with digital ID. Ooh, I hate that. I hate that shit. They're having it in your state, Holly. Yeah, I'm glad you live in the sticks. So, if any of you can help it, some of you are located within major cities. If any of you can help it, just kind of stay away. Like flying right now, okay. There's been a lot going on, not just with airports and security and those types of things, but aboard planes. There's been BOMB threats and all kinds of craziness happening. So if you can help it, don't fly right now. And if you can help it, don't be out there constantly in major cities right now. Okay. If you do, then make sure that you are placing your protections. Make sure that you are also, you know, um, this is my arm. Make sure you're doing that to yourself. Making sure that for your own safety, and that's where I'm gonna put it. And it doesn't have to be pew pews or anything like that. Okay, we're like there are many things. I got me a new can of pepper spray, okay, on my keychain, because I do have to go to the city from time to time to do shopping, and it's not like a big city, so it's not even that big of a deal. But still, the mental illness, like I talked about, the mental imbalances in people are going to really start to come to a head. They already have been. Mostly men, and I'm talking about not the divine masculines here. We're talking about the toxic, wounded masculine energy. Those kinds of men are becoming more and more dangerous. Okay, in Atlanta, Georgia, there are groups of these people that are going around and attacking women just for no reason. Okay, like at restaurants or in the park or just walking down the street. It's thick, y'all, and I'm being so serious right now. You got a taser last week? Good for you, girl. I got myself and my daughter a lipstick taser a few years back. They're like, they look like giant lipsticks. But yes, and don't be afraid to stand your ground and to defend yourself no matter what. Okay, pepper spray is illegal there. Girl, get some aerosol hairspray. Like, do they have the little tiny cans of aerosol hairspray or like bug spray? Things like the tiny little aerosol cans you can keep in your purse. You can use anything. It doesn't have to be pepper spray. But girl, you can make some cayenne pepper and some oil in a little tiny convenient spray bottle. Does the trick too, baby. Um, but yeah, so just make sure that you are taking care of and defending yourselves and your families, as we are undergoing this crazy shit right now. Annie's out thrifting right now. Awesome. But ultimately, we are headed towards this universal oneness with all of these things coming to light, with all of this shit surfacing. Okay, yes, you can do that. Absolutely, girl, do it. Get the hottest pepper. If you can get ghost peppers, if you have access to like ghost pepper seeds or something, sprinkle some of those in there, baby girl. It's both a spell and self protection mechanism. We're not going to use the W word for like weapon, right? Universal oneness. This is where we're heading. This is why all of this shit has to surface. And we have the Four of Wands too. Like, this is celebration. This is passing that. It's like that rite of passage. You've already come through the portal and you're on the other side. It's time to celebrate. It's time to feast. It's time to really, interact with one another in such a positive way. This is coming, okay? But it ain't here yet, you guys. So we're going to have to like batten down the hatches. We're going to have to stand when we're called to stand. We're going to have to advocate when we're called to advocate. We're going to have to spread our message, because our message isn't pacifism and allowing the oppressor to keep their thumb on us. Absolutely the fuck not. That's not spirituality. That's part of the conditioning, the programming that they've inserted into these spiritual spaces for so long now, that love looks like pacifism and peace and being the martyr. Like, no, the fuck it doesn't. Okay, there are highly advanced species who are all benevolent, very loving species, but fuck around and you're gonna find out, annihilate your ass. Okay, so spirituality and love is not pacifism. Love looks like a mama bear protecting her fucking cub. Love looks like me being at the park with my little kids and I see some weird man talking to a child who is unaccompanied at the park, which happens a lot here. It's a tiny town, small town mentality, happens a lot. And me going up to them and saying, this is not okay. You need to get the fuck away from this child, and, protecting that child. That's mama bear. Okay. That is love. That is not pacifism. That's not like, oh, not my kid, not my business. Let's let a kidnapping happen right in front of us. Absolutely the fuck not. Like, spiritual communities have been bleached over and over and over again with this idea that love means pacifism and, allowing the oppressor, because people can see like there's the oppressor and you're the one who's being oppressed. They don't fucking care. It's all entertainment for them. Okay. Do something. Love is doing something, is making change, because you love Gaia, because you love humanity, because you love this place and all of the souls that are held here. Okay. It's doing something fucking about it. It's not sitting on our asses, caged up in this dark ass cave while shit's popping off outside, staying underground in your bunkers or not doing shit. Absolutely the fuck not. Revolution is love. When there is not one single oppressed person in existence on this plane, that is love, because we had the fucking lady balls to do something about it. Okay? That is love. That is spirituality. That is unity. That is oneness. Unity cannot take place whenever we're all held under the thumbs of the oppressor. That is not unity. That is not unity. That is being imprisoned. Do something. And I'm not just talking to you guys. I'm talking to everybody. Anybody who sees this. Fucking do something. Even if it's speaking on it. Even if it's telling, your cousin's uncle's best friend that belief that women should be oppressed, or that marginalized people of any shape, color, size, gender, identity, whatever, that their ideas about oppressing those people are fucking dead ass wrong. and they're an evil, horrific fucking shit. We can no longer sit idly by while injustice is taking place, while oppression and oppressive ideas are being shouted from rooftops. No more. It ends with this fucking point in time. It ends now. Speak even if your voice is shaking. Act even if you're fucking pissing your pants. Because this is the most important thing that this plane has ever encountered. And I promise you it will be fruitful. But not for those who just sit and fucking keep their heads buried in the sand. Thank you, Anna. Revolution is unity. Absolutely. I've already had a talk with myself and prepared to take if I have to. I hear you. I hear what you're saying. Not going to publicly condone. Okay. But now's the time to act. Okay. Any revolutionary war, anyone you can possibly name that is historically recorded, which are very few, there was loss of life. There's no avoiding that. Okay. We all know our assignments. We all know what we came in to do, the purpose that we came here to serve. And that's going to look vastly different for everybody. Okay. So I'm not condoning, but I'm also not judging. Okay. All right. Knight of Cups, baby. This is good news coming in. This is good offers coming in. This is heartfelt. This is early stages. This is just those little messages. This is the glimmers. Okay. This is the glimmers we've talked about. There are triggers. There are glimmers. These are the glimmers. Okay. This is whenever you see someone like me, like myself or other people speaking out about shit. This is where we're presented with information, with facts, astrologers coming on and saying, oh shit, like this is like, this doesn't happen very often. This is a very rare astrological thing. And these are the themes of it. This is how it's happened across history. This is like, but ultimately there's this really great aspect that's going to really just come in and, we've been experiencing crazy geomagnetic and solar events, y'all, that have impacted our energy levels, but they've also been light codes. Okay. These are the activations. And we talked about being activated last week. Like some of us are really being highly activated right now. Some of us are still a little bit more dormant because our activation is approaching, but it's not here yet, right? We all have our own purpose, our own function, our whatever we agreed to fulfill while we were here, and we're all on different timelines. It comes in waves, just like Dolores talked about the 3 waves of volunteers. Okay, all of this shit has to come in waves. So we're in one of these waves right now. This is like the 3rd or 4th wave. Okay, there's not just going to be 3 waves like the 3 waves of volunteers. There are multiple waves. Okay, so this is just part of that wave. So we're going to see, an increase in the atrocity, in the ugliness, in the oppression, in all of the darkness, right? But simultaneously, you're going to see the glimmers. There are so many of them if you have the eyes to see them. Kept me awake for almost 2 days this week around the girl. Yes. Sleep has been elusive for a lot of us, because same, like I'm a night owl, and lately though I've been too much of a night owl for my own liking, and then sleeping in really late. Like today I woke up at 11 and I'm like, oh shit, I have to shower in 30 minutes and start getting ready. So I woke up, got my coffee, had like 2 sips of it, went and showered, started getting ready, didn't even finish my coffee today. But does it sound like I need it? No. Like, I'll have really deep dips of low energy, and that's been a thing over the past couple weeks for sure. But I've also been doing a lot of physical output, like repairs, like my dryer. I went ahead and got a brand new free dryer, brand new old ass free dryer off of Facebook Marketplace, because my nephew had sent me like, hey, here's a free dryer, and he knew that mine took a crap, and I've been dragging my ass on fixing it. So I was like, you know what, this one's way older than mine, so much better, because the old shit was built to last forever. So yes, I will take the older one than mine, because it's going to work a lot better and a lot longer. And guess what? It does. It works a lot better. So I'm so happy with that. But I had to move the old dryer out myself, the new dryer in myself, like I all on my own, because I don't have people just to drop everything and come help me. My nephew just had surgery. My best friend just had surgery. Everyone else has a life, you know what I mean? So there's that. There's been other, like, I had to replace another part on my car. There's, the kids are off for summer break right now. I'm cooking a lot more. Like, I'm maintaining my little people. Like, there's so much physical output that, and like mental output, that it's just like, when can a bitch get a break? You know what I mean? But I've, yes, the sleep thing has been elusive also. I was so sleepy last night, but too wired. Exactly. I'll be so tired, but unable to fall asleep. So I forced myself to bed and put some tuning fork videos on, and I managed, feeling refreshed today. I'm so glad that you're feeling better today, Anna, because girl, I feel you on that. So yeah, we're just in a constant, we're constantly in some kind of influx of energy, whether that's dark or light, heavy or light, solar or geomagnetic, or, I mean, not geomagnetic, tectonic, Gaionic, like Gaia-onic. I just created my own term. You're welcome. Solar flares. I have been transmuting the extra energy into playing and creating music. That's awesome, Matt. So yeah, that's, channel it into something productive if you can, something creative if you can. I've been like channeling as much as I can into productivity. Like, I had to fix a lawnmower. My grass was hip high to me, you guys. No fucking joke. A month of growth, it was hip high, because the lawnmower wouldn't work. So finally got that all under control, and mowed my lawns, and that was a physical feat for me for sure. Yeah, it's been crazy. So I've had ways that I've had to channel that energy, but also, channeling it in more creative ways, more critical thinking type ways, more observing, more really just translating everything that's going on in the collective, and translating that into what that means spiritually, what that means for our shift timeline. Because y'all know I'm highly invested in that, always have been. So this is where we're going to start seeing the glimmers. We're going to start seeing the good news. We have to try to maintain and do that as much as possible. It doesn't mean lock ourselves off, bubble ourselves up from not feeling, not observing, not really being impacted by the atrocities and the craziness and the chaos that's happening right now. This means come back to center, baby. This means feel it, like go all in for as long as you can, as much as you can, and then come back out, ground yourself, really shield yourself from being so deeply impacted that it throws you off your track, right? But still being immersed in it and processing it, because we're all purifiers. We're like air purifiers for this plane, right? We come here with our higher frequencies, with our knowledge, with our development, with our healing and everything, all the tools and knowledge that we gained with our own journeys. And we ground that into Gaia. We, grab a whole heap of fucking sorrow and anger and grief and all of this shit, and we really look at it and we really feel it and we filter it in, we purify that shit, and we release it much lighter than it came into our own hands, right? So we're acting as purifiers as we're observing, okay? And it can be really, really difficult. That may not sound that difficult, but all of my feelers, all of my deep feelers, which is everyone here, you already know what I'm talking about. So it is heavy, it is hard, it is unbearable at times. Trust me, I cry all the time. I cry all the time. I feel everything, I see everything, and it's just it brings so much grief. But I'm also processing collective emotion because the collective has been unable to process that emotion for so long because they've been programmed to be disconnected from their own emotions and just keep their fucking nose down and go to work and come back, eat, sleep, do it all over again. That's it. So all of the emotion that's been bypassed for so long is still here, and we have been processing it, and we will continue to do so. But don't do it to your own detriment, is what I'm saying. Make sure you're grounding, take a step back whenever you need to, disconnect whenever you need to, um, but be present, okay? Be present with yourself, but also with the collective energies that are taking place right now. Because Seven of Wands, it is a victory card. It is a card of exaltation. It is a card of, no matter what's going on outside of me, I still am focused on my own light. I am still anchored in my own energy. I am still grounding to Gaia. And even though all of this shit's going on around me, I can still maintain, I can still balance myself. I can still bring myself that peace. And by bringing yourself that peace through all of this, you're also, that's part of what you're purifying and sending back out to the collective. You're taking in all of this gunk, right? You're purifying it and you're releasing the peace, releasing that grounding, releasing that calm and that love back out into the collective. So you're replacing that old energy with new, lighter energy. So continue to do that. But again, take a break when you need to. Don't overwhelm yourself. Don't, get so sucked into it that now you've got this doom and gloom consciousness attached to you. Okay, we know how to take care of attachments. We know how to remain sovereign. So keep doing what you've been practicing over the last several years. Creation partnered. This is a sex magic card. This is not just creating through having sex with one another. This is creation through our sacral chakras, which is, where our sexual organs are located. That's kind of what, that's where our seed of creativity comes from creating life. But also whenever we create, hey Steph, whenever we create, whatever it is that we personally create. This is union and collective creation. Okay, this is connecting to one another by our sacral energy, by our passionate output, by our passionate investment in what is happening, but also in what we can produce, what we can create. And that's not talking about human life or anything like that. Okay. And abortion should be a viable option for everyone who wants access to it. We'll just say that as well. So we're partnering together. We're creating together, and that's what this is all talking about. But yeah, we're gonna have to fucking see, and we are seeing clearly. If he just jumped out of my hand, King of Swords. This is seeing everything from that balanced, grounded perspective. This is that masculine, what do I need to take action on? Because the masculine takes action, the King of Swords especially, but he uses his intellect, he uses his discernment, but he is directly looking at, and I'm going to show you how they came out. He is staring right at this woman on the Nine of Swords card. He's looking that nightmare, that waking nightmare right in the fucking face, and he's like, okay, I'm gonna observe, I'm gonna see what I need to take action on. How can I best take action on the situation to cause change, to bring clarity, right? To bring truth. And he bears the sword for a fucking reason. He's a fighter, okay? He might not have that fiery energy like the King of Wands, but that's a good thing because he's using wisdom. He's using his learned wisdom to apply to this waking nightmare. You go to sleep and it's a nightmare. You wake up and it's a nightmare. This is the state of affairs on this plane at this time, right? And we're all collectively looking at it. What can we take action on that's going to bring out the best possible outcome? We've got the Five of Wands. This is chaos. This is conflict, and not always. Okay, you guys know in my readings, a lot of the times I see this as working as building together as practicing for some, but we've already done all the practicing. This is like the chaos is here at your doorstep, and we're working together to overcome this, because in this card, in this deck specifically, it's not one person wielding off a bunch of other people with, you know, their wands in their hands. On this one, they're all doing something different. They're all working their own function. They're all doing their own thing, because it's like very much like we're being tactical. We're being a group. We're doing this in unison. We're tackling that Five of Pentacles energy, that being left out in the cold, that being, you know, lacking, that being focused on lack and oppression. And the key to our freedom is right there by the door. We just got to stick that bitch in the keyhole, turn it, and walk through. Okay. We have trained for lifetimes. We came from star systems that have already mastered these kinds of things, from collectives that have already gone through this evolutionary shift, because this is something that does happen for every planet, for every plane in existence. There is some kind of an evolutionary cycle. Might not look exactly like ours, might not be this oppressive. There, you know, we have variables everywhere. But this is a collective evolution that many of us have mastered multiple times on multiple planes as a soul. And that is why we're here, because we have the practice, because we know how to, you know, we can spot the patterns, because we're all neurospicy. Okay. Starseeds are neurospicy. We have pattern recognition deeply ingrained in our DNA. Okay. So we see the pattern, we observe, we see the weakness in their pattern, and then we fucking strike. That's not passivity. That's not sitting idly by and allowing shit to happen and wondering when, who's gonna stand up, who's gonna take our leadership role, and who's going to lead us out of the darkness. It's not that. We don't need anyone to lead us. This is a collective operation. We are not going to have the gurus. We are not going to have the leaders. We are not going to have that one person that everyone looks to and exalts to speak for everyone, because one person can never speak for everyone in a group. I don't give a fuck what group it is. One person is not going to speak on behalf of the true beliefs of every single person, the deeply held beliefs, because we all have such different perspectives from person to person. So one person could never speak for the collective, whether that's a small collective or a large one. I'm never going to be the one to speak on your wishes, or Matt's wishes, or Anna's wishes, or Suzanne's wishes, or Kara's wishes, or Holly's wishes, or anyone's wishes. I'm never going to be able to speak on the entire soul tribe and all of their beliefs and have it be truthful and have that be, you know, the one way that we all think. We all have different perspectives. We all have, you know, our own energies going on and our own beliefs going on that have been impacted by our own life experiences and on our own conditioning and programming, right? Not all of us have completely outgrown all of the programming and all of the conditioning, okay? Probably not one of us, because I can tell you for one, I still carry some of that, and I still work through it all the time. So for things to really shift, we're shifting away from this hierarchical type of establishment. There's not going to be one person above another. There's not going to be one person above many others. That is not how this works. This is co-creation. This is unity. This is operating together as a multi-celled organism, because we're individual cells in the greater body of the collective. Yeah, no, I don't speak for your wishes either, Steph. So that's why I've spoken about this for like the entire time, is we're moving away from this guru culture. Like, yes, we all love Dolores. Yes, we all, you know, had awakenings based on Dolores's teachings, on Dolores's experiences. But I promise you that not one single person in this entire soul tribe is going to agree with every single thing that she's put out, every single idea that she has presented. There are multiple things where I've disagreed with Dolores on. And that's why I kind of branched away from QHHT and actually created my own script, my own type of modality that is still quantum hypnosis and still healing and everything, but it meets the dips that I was personally seeing in my own experience with it. So, we're moving away from this exaltation of individuals, and we're moving into a more cooperative, collaborative type of way of existence. So that's why we say there's no savior that's coming to save us. There is no, one person that's going to, it's a movement, and it is individuals and collectives within their own groups that are contributing to the totality of the movement. It's not going to, I'm not going to be a famous fucking, I'm not going to be looked at in the history books like, oh my God, she was the savior. She was on the front lines. She was leading the fucking masses. No, and nor do I want to be. Because I know that that's not the way shit's supposed to function. That is not sustainable. Even in positive experiences, take it like this. Okay, Michael Jackson, until a certain point in time where he was criminalized and made to look like something that he was not in order to extract more from him. Okay, everyone loved Michael. Everyone. He had fans all across the world, still does, mind you. Okay, what they did, they failed at. But he commanded so much positive energy with his own essence, just his stage presence, and not just his stage presence, behind the scenes, like in interviews and interacting with fans when the cameras were not rolling or they were rolling from afar or whatever, what have you. The point was not to perform for the camera. Okay. So he just had this presence, but also look at the hysteria rampant in all of those people that loved him so much. They were feeding off of him. Yes, they were feeding into him as part of his his fans in the crowd whenever he was doing a performance. Of course, the person who's performing gets fed, gets supported, gets invigorated with the energy of the crowd. And if you've never been to a concert, then you might not understand. But if you've been to a concert before, you can see how the crowd moves as one organism a lot of times, right? So they were feeding into him when he was on stage, but they were also siphoning from him. And that is why you see like how exhausted you would see him at certain points in his career, was because he was being fed on, because he was handed on, his whole life on a silver platter. He was the main course, right? Even though he was fed into whenever he was doing his shows, and that was what energized him on stage and things like that. And then they tried to deplatform him. They tried to turn everyone on him because he was very powerful in his own right, but also he was fed on by the others because they consumed him. Think of content. You consume content, right? So that's why it's not sustainable, because even someone who is seen in such a beautiful light is also fed on, and you see them deteriorate. Okay, so this is not the way that it's meant to be. We're meant to be collective. We're meant to move and shift and work together. This is the natural state of things. I never believed it back then with MJ, who was channeling beautiful light on stage and people fainted because of his high frequency. Yeah. And actually, when I was a kid, he was like he was the one that the one celebrity that I really focused on, the one that really got me through a lot of tough times. I've told you guys a lot about that song that he put out, "You Are Not Alone." And I was a tiny little kid crying alone in the house because my mother left me all the time and would neglect me and abuse me and all of these awful things. And I always wish Michael could be my dad. I wish Michael and gosh, I don't know why her name is fleeting me right now. I would know it any other time. Presley, Elvis's daughter. I wished that they would be my parents, when I was a really little kid. So I get it. I'm right there with you. But whenever all of the any kind of news or information that you're presented with, I did believe that he could be a child's, what he was accused of. At that point in time, I was so upset, and I was so oh my God, I can't believe someone that I was so invested in, and all of these things like that brought me comfort and things could be accused of something like this. I wasn't certain that he had done it. I had a lot of doubt, but there was also so much media that was saying he did it, he blah 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 blah. And then like after the trial came, not Priscilla, that was Elvis's wife. Um, I want to call her Marie. Is her name Marie? Any other time I would know it, except for right now. Y'all know whenever I'm in shit just doesn't compute. Um, so yeah. Anyway, that's why we're moving away from guru culture, because it doesn't, like, yes, it can benefit the person who is made to be the guru or the, you know, the star of the whole thing, but it also is at detriment to them as well, detrimental to their own well-being. It's kind of like a parasitic, symbiotic parasitic type of thing. It's like both symbiotic and parasitic on both sides of the spectrum. So yeah, uh, we're moving away from that because it's not cohesive, it's not sustainable. And so there's not going to be any one person, or you know, any 10 people or just handful of people that are going to be exalted in the history books for, you know, this evolutionary shift. That's not the way it's going to be, because it is a movement. This means everyone has to be involved, or a majority has to be involved, right? So we're not doing the celebrity culture anymore. That shit died a long time ago. A long time ago. So that's not what we're moving towards. More heart-centered Queen of Cups energy here. Okay, this is emotionally in tune. This is the matriarchy. This is doing you know, the best thing for the highest and greatest good of the all, not of one or a group of people, right? This is operating in a more heart-centered, fair, and just way, just as the mother operates with her children. Okay, this is the way that it's always been supposed to be. Okay, this does not again mean that only female gendered individuals are going to be running shit. This means the system that we're building is built on the matriarchal energy perspective. Like number 3, been a long time. I'm sorry. When I'm in the channel, my brain doesn't quite compute. I don't know what you're referring to, but thank you for being here a little bit. Um, Along with that comes boundaries. Okay. Tap like button and subscribe to show your support. Yes, thank you. So boundaries, okay? Rules, boundaries that apply to the all, not just a few or most of them, except for this little group of people. It's not like that anymore. Okay, we are making our boundaries. We are enforcing our boundaries. We are putting a stop to the oppression of anyone. Okay, because over the next couple of decades, you're going to see that poverty is not going to be a thing. This is after the shift. Okay, this is like right now, poverty is like rampant, number one. But we have this whole shift taking place. So those types of things are no longer, right? We're operating from creative energy instead of the slave job, 9 to 5, you know, eat, sleep, come back and do it again, have no room to critically think for yourself, have no room to be worried about anything else other than what impacts you directly, because you're running on a lack of sleep, you're running on a lack of money, your attention is being pulled everywhere, you're being advertised to left and right, you know. Enough. Okay, that's why it has to get so bad. That's why it has to be all up in our faces, so that we can actually change it, so that we can put our fucking foot down, and we're going to say no longer is anyone going to be taken advantage of, no longer is anyone going to be made to be little. We're going to, you know, shift our school systems to where we are exalting children's special interests, what they're naturally drawn to, what they're naturally interested in. We're going to build on that instead of this one size fits all, fits none, actually, way of educating, just to turn children into slaves to the 9 to 5. Um, this shift has to happen. This shit has to get real ugly before a lot of people are going to wake up, because they're intentionally shoving their heads down in that sand. Okay. So we have loyalty here. This is community connection. This is the sunflowers. They purify toxic soil. Okay. They purify nuclear energy. Sunflowers are the purifier. They reach for the sun. They're always sun facing, except for whenever they're dealing with a fake sun. They're always sun facing. This is the sun card. You know, in the tradition, this would be considered the sun card. Look at the sun. The sun is shining. This is what we're moving out of. Okay, that waking nightmare. Whether you're awake, whether you're asleep, you have to constantly be fighting to exist. We're moving away from this shit. We're moving into unity, into loyalty for one another, into loyalty for the cause, for the highest good of the all. Yes, we have to see the contrast with this vision card. This is seeing that light in the dark. We have to have both in order to create what we're moving forward next. This is how we really sharpen our focus, sharpen our vision, really start to fine tune things, because we see every single last bit of darkness surfacing right now. Again, yes, unbearable. Yes, difficult. Yes, excruciating. But if we couldn't see the parts where, you know, energy's sagging, or that's the downfall, or that's, you know, the oppressed energy, or that's where they are able to do everything in the darkness and we can't see it in the light. This is taking everything into consideration, taking all components of the issue and saying, oh, this one's dark, this one's dark, this one's dark, that one's dark. We need to fix all of these things. We need to revise all of these things. If we didn't see the darkness, we wouldn't be able to revise it, to shed light on it, and to incorporate it into the whole. So we are refining our vision with all of this darkness that is surfacing at this time. The darkness and the light are holding hands on this card. They're a mirror of one another. They're just different aspects. They're intertwined in ways that cannot be put into words. And it's not for negativity. It's all for the ultimate light to win, the ultimate outcome, the highest possible outcome. But we cannot ignore it. We cannot say it's not there, or we cannot cast it out, because it's part of us. It is intrinsically woven into the fabric of this realm where we are at this time. Okay, so we have to see it. It is informational. It is for positive purposes, because it is for informative purposes. We're going to take that information, we're going to revise, we're going to place those those boundaries, and we're going to create better, because we can see where we're faltering, where things have been going wrong for so long. We have Urun with joy and light. We are heralding in the joy, the light right now. We have the unicorn on the card. Okay, this is mystical beings. This is the unseen coming to light, because humans can only see a sliver of the visible light spectrum, right? And this is why we cannot physically see anymore with our physical eyes certain what are termed mystical or mythological beings. They're present. Their energy is here. They might have been taken out of tangible physical form by these human oppressors, to try to hide any kind of majestical energy from us, to demonize it and say it's witchcraft and it's demonic and it's Satan and it's all of these things. And that's just made up. It's not real. There are so many legends and stories passed down of true occurrences, but they, whenever they can say, oh, that's not true, that's not real, or else they would be here now, they can manipulate people's beliefs to the point where they can really contort everything and inject their own programming into it, and the people will be more susceptible to that. We're going to be able to start seeing more on the visible light spectrum that hasn't been available to us for so long. And the sun is out, baby. In this reading, the sun is fucking out, okay? The light has won. We are the courage. We are the light. We are the fucking revolution. Okay. Just the simple fact that we exist here as the star seeds that we are, star seed card with Yamota. The reason that we are here is to prove to ourselves that these things are not false. They're not fake. We are mystical beings in our own right. And we're going to start awakening more and more to that fact. As we start awakening more to that fact, the more of these things that we're going to be able to see physically, tangibly with our own eyes, because now we're open to more of the visible light spectrum, you know, the parts of our brain that they say have shut off that are just junk. That's where things start to come online, because you have to believe it to see it, right? More people believing it, more collective people believing in the same thing, we're going to start being able to see it more. You see, like, you know, people catching dragons or unicorns or Pegasus or elves or fairies or whatever on camera. And then you have other people saying, oh, that's not true. That's AI. That's that. It's bleeding in together. The more people that believe it, the more sightings they're going to see, the more, you know, they're going to be able to make their presence known. So keep believing, star seeds, keep fucking believing it. Oshun is here to bring the justice. She is bringing the balance, but she is not, she's not a goddess that is gentle. Okay. She is not known for being a gentle, kind, nice goddess. No, she brings the fucking wrath. If things are imbalanced, she brings in the balance. However, that has to happen. And for so long on this earth plane, it's had to happen in abrasive ways in order to really correct or rebalance things that were very off balance. Okay. So it's not going to be all love and light and fucking fairy dust. Okay. That's not how the shift is going to occur, because we have been so steeped in such a difficult, dense, and oppressive energy and program for so long. Breaking free from that is going to look chaotic. It's going to look, you know, like it's looking right now. Aw, I'm glad you went with her, Susan. You're awesome. So we're now trying to navigate this labyrinth that they've created on this plane to try to keep us entrapped. But baby, the walls are not there. It looks like they're there because they're playing with what we can see with our eyes, with our senses, right? They're trying to make it seem like it's impossible to escape the bonds that they have placed upon us so long. And look at this bond, and look at that bond, look at this wall, look at those bars, look at all of these things that are entrapping you, that are imprisoning you. But all you have to do is stand up and walk away, because they don't really exist. They're not there. They're only there if you believe that they're there. Once you stop believing in the prison walls, you can just walk fucking through them. People can walk through walls. Not in our tangible waking state, and I still have not been able to to get through with that one, right? But we can. We know we can. There's been proof that we can, especially with like extraterrestrial abduction encounters, right? Things like that. It's all an illusion, but our brains are so 3D focused that we don't do it anymore. That's going to start coming back online. Okay, we're just going to get up and walk through these prison walls, baby, because they don't exist. They are an illusion. Exactly, Suzanne. They're a fucking illusion, and illusions shatter eventually. Okay, cocoon stage right behind that. We are butterfly fucking soup right now. Ask anyone in this collective how they feel. They'd be like, I soup right about now. It's because we are, but we are growing our wings. Okay, we're forming our wings. We're gonna stretch them out. We're gonna dry them off, and we're gonna fucking flutter the fuck up out of here like the mystical fucking beings that we are. Okay, but for now, baby, idleness. Okay, this doesn't mean sit on your haunches and do nothing fucking else. This does not mean don't stand up, don't speak out, don't blah, blah, blah. It doesn't mean that. It just means that maybe for now, you need to be in that cocoon. You need to nourish yourself. You need to rest up. You need to take care of yourself right now, because whenever you're called, whenever you're activated, shit starts popping off for you. Okay. So this means, just make sure that you're not completely dormant, right? But more like a hibernational type thing. You're going within, you're grounding, you're checking yourself, you're nourishing yourself, you're making sure your mental, emotional, and physical state is balanced. Okay, that is exactly what you should do right now, because you're a cosmic child, baby. You came here to fuck shit up. We came here to flip tables. We didn't come here to be the martyr. We didn't come here to, make some impactful speech that no one's going to remember for 100 years whenever we're on the fucking chopping block, okay, and saying, oh, I was peaceful, I did nothing wrong, and now you guys are killing me. No. Okay? We grew out of the Anne Boleyn era, all right? And now it's time to fucking do something about it. But only whenever you're activated, okay? Don't get it twisted. Don't just go full force, go for the gusto with, little mental and emotional or even physical energy. Absolutely not. Your time is coming, baby. If it hasn't already started popping off for you, then it's coming. But for now, you need to make sure that you're maintaining your own energy. Ready and willing. I love it, Katie. The sacred well, replenishment, self-care, and giving from a place of plenty. So, idleness, yes, this means this is a space of inaction while you're nurturing yourself, and maybe others right now too. Like, I got a bunch of kids, I'm nourishing me, I'm nourishing them, like, and it's taking a lot out of me. But still, doing it nonetheless. Okay, this is taking care of yourself. This is giving from a space of plenty. This means when you're activated, when you're called, you have plenty of that energy to give, you have plenty of that energy to invest, and it's not going to be depleting you. So make sure that you're taking care of yourself. Right behind that, we have thank you with gratitude, appreciating what's sustaining you. Okay, sit, be grateful, nourish yourself, be grateful for the food. Girl, I've been making some delicious meals lately, and I've been like, oh my gosh, I'm so glad that I'm such a good cook. This is nourishing, this is sustaining, this is filling, this is, we've been really changing our diets around here, moving away from the processed stuff that my kids like to eat, moving away from that to more home cooked, homemade, every step of the way. I made tepache, which you take your pineapple skins and core and put them in a jar with sugar water, right, and make a probiotic beverage like a soda, like I told you guys about kombucha and stuff. I made some tepache and it was really good. I actually have a bottle in the fridge that's been steeping with some mint in it. That's going to be delicious. I can't wait to try it. So, nourishing yourself in more ways than you normally do. Maybe that's brewing probiotic beverages and foods and sustaining yourself in that way and doing everything from scratch. Maybe it's fucking not. I'm not here to judge. The UK is on the front line. In many ways, yes, Matt, there's so much shit popping off with the UK right now, and I'm like, ugh. But the US was born of that, not the whole UK, but I mean, white people were all over that continent for a very long time, okay? But mostly like England, Britain, we white US people, like the US was born from people branching out, and they put it under the guise of trying to get away from the imperialist like oppressor, but they just created their own imperialist oppressor here. They were just expanding, they were colonizing to expand under a different brand name, right? So like, I see it a totally different way than history says. But yes, and Spain, same way. They went and they conquered places, not conquered, but they G-sided places in South America, including Mexico, okay, and colonized them. And that's why everyone there speaks Spanish. It's not because that's their native tongue. It's because that was what was pushed down their throats, and they were genocided if they didn't adopt this new language and so forth. So like it same families, we'll say same 13 families, colonizers. Yeah, but This is the era of the rainbow warriors that, you know, the Hopi prophecy talked about, the rainbow warriors, which were of different factions, different cultures, different colors of skin, different, you know, all of us coming together to reclaim Gaia back. And it's not going to look like giving the whole US back to the natives, no matter, like, yes, that would be the right thing to do, but it, at this point, that's not going to be something that's going to be doable, sustainable, etc. And not just with the US, with Australia, with Africa, right? With everywhere. People are not on their original native lands anymore. They've been colonized and moved and G-sided and all of these things so many times that people are no longer on their true, like, native lands, and people are of mixed bloods now. Like, it's just, that's just not something that's going to happen. But what is going to happen is we're all going to come together because of our greater love and connection with the whole of Gaia, right? So this is going to look like saving the planet, saving Gaia, saving the flora and fauna by coming together across different cultures, different colors, different factions, all of this, and coming together with the purpose of the ultimate highest good for Gaia and all of her inhabitants, right? Not just the ones that we deem worthy of saving, right? This is it. We're the Rainbow Warriors. Blending raw veggies and olive oil, heart healthy smoothies. Oh, wow. I don't know if I could do like veggies in a smoothie, because for my brain, smoothies are sweet, they're fruit, they're with, you can put some veggies in them and not really change the flavor a whole lot, but more power to you, girlfriend, because I could not do a veggie smoothie. But all the other stuff is great. I'm brewing a huge, I've got 2 liters, or no, a liter of Everclear with a pound of olive leaf powder. I'm making my own olive leaf extract right now, so it's going to be like 6 weeks before it's done, because I just put it all together yesterday. I've been gathering ingredients and taking my sweet ass time, but 6 weeks from now I'll have a nice olive leaf extract. So yeah, I've been doing my things too, which is awesome. Saving scraps in the freezer for like vegetable scraps or fruit scraps and things like that I can add to things later on, instead of using, like, just being wasteful and, you know, tossing those things that can make a really good, like, veggie broth or whatever, you know. Onion powder, yes. I use a lot of onions. Every time I cook, I use onions. So I've been saving the tops, bottoms, skins, and like the outer layers that I peel off in freezer bags, putting them in the freezer so I can dehydrate that shit and make my own onion powder. I'm getting back to the getting back to the homesteading stuff that I started doing in my early 20s, and I love it. So if y'all are doing that, if you guys want to swap recipes or anything like that, we'll do it. Metamorphosis. We're getting to the last couple of cards, y'all. Embrace transformation. Things are now different. Like I've been telling you, it's done. We've already won. The light has won. The shift is done. The veil is gone. But it takes time, because we're still attached to the idea of time. And I just talked with Holly about this yesterday. It's funny. She was saying, like, I'm not even high right now. And I was contemplating, like, does time have a soul? Because, you know, we can make egregors, we can create thought forms and things like that. And I was like, no, time has an essence, but it doesn't have a soul itself. So the essence of time, right? So we still have that as a filter. So of course, it's going to take some time for things to really solidify, to tangibilize, to start to take effect, right? So now's not the time to stop. Now's the time to keep pushing forward. I have protein shakes daily with fruits and spinach. Ew. A little bit of spinach in the fruit, and protein powder. I just. But I'm glad you like it, Steph. I'm not trying to knock your shit. I'm just saying personally, I would not. But yeah, just like a little bit of spinach and with some stronger tasting fruits and stuff is fine. We've been eating a lot of watermelon and a lot of pineapple lately. The kids and I have all been craving it, so we've been having a lot of watermelon and pineapple lately. So yeah, to each their own. We'll just say. So metamorphosis, it's already done. Okay, the metamorphosis, the butterfly fucking soup. Where'd she go? Metamorphosis and butterfly soup showed up today. Like, we're in it. We've already transformed. It's done. It's just taking some time to solidify. It's just taking some time to really start to tangibly show up in our reality. We have the sirens. Use your voice, expansion, and freedom. Bitch, what have I been saying? It's time to stand up. It's time to speak out. It's time to advocate. It's time to put our fucking foot down, right? Put your fucking foot down. Stop tolerating people acting or talking a fool or treating someone like shit in your presence in public. Because I guarantee you, if I see someone talking down to someone and I'm in public, I will fucking stand up and say something, and I will get in their face like a fucking chihuahua. That's just how I've always been. I've always been the one who stands for the underdog, the one who fucking calls it out, who speaks on it, who says, that's not what we're fucking doing here, okay? And I have not ever been accosted in public or anything. Nobody had. I told you guys a long time ago, like whenever I was in school, kids were afraid of me. They didn't start fights. They were terrified of me. Like, my energy is big, it is strong, it is protective, and I am a protector. I stood up for the nerdy kid that got picked on all the time. Got my fucking face slapped one time over it. That boy was off the hook. It was a boy, and he slapped me really hard. He was strong. I did not shut my fucking mouth though. Still stood up for the little kid. That kid ended up not getting his ass beat that day, and I took a face slap for it. And I was like, all right, that's fine. That's cool. We can live with that. But what we're not going to do is bully and beat up another little kid who cannot stand up for himself, who cannot fend for himself. I've always been that way, so it's easy for me. And like I said, people don't try to accost me, but I make sure that I'm protected, or I have tools that where if I needed to protect someone else, if I saw it out in public, that I could, and I would be more than efficient at it. Okay. No smoothies for me 1 year. I love smoothies. You know, I love my smoothies. But like, my sensitive sense of taste picks up on the subtlety of like spinach, bitter spinach. So that's just one thing I can't handle. But other things like alternatives, I probably could, but yeah, not protein powder, not spinach. So use your fucking voice. You have one for a reason. If you are mute, then you're excused from that. But I know you can do sign language. I know you can fucking type. I know you can do something. Okay. We're all differently abled, and I get that. So this is absolutely not trying to be ableist about use your fucking voice, because I realize not everyone has one. We don't have anyone that does not have their own voice in our tribe that we know about. So that's why I'm saying what I'm saying. But speak up, use your voice, expand into our freedom, reclaim that shit, because if we just continue to go along with it and continue to accept the oppression and continue to martyr ourselves to be an example for how oppressive our oppressor is, but no one's going to get up and fucking do anything, we're wasting our fucking time. So gone are the days of martyrdom. We're not fucking doing that anymore. And here are the days of speaking up, speaking out, fucking physically doing something if we have to, okay? If we're called, if we're in the right time, the right space, and whatever, okay? Everyone has their own function. Everyone has their own job to do here. This is a call to action. Whenever you are presented with the opportunity to take some kind of fucking action, take that fucking action, because the days of martyrdom are over. You cannot just stick your head in the sand and say, I didn't know about it. I didn't see it. I didn't hear it. I couldn't do anything about it because I didn't know, or I didn't know it was that bad, or it wasn't affecting me personally. It was affecting my neighbors, but it wasn't affecting me personally, and I don't want to be put in danger. No, fuck that shit. If you don't stand for anything, then you fucking fall for everything. Okay, so stand up, speak out, call a motherfucker out on their stupid shit. I don't care who they are to you. Call them out. Speak on it. Let it hit the air. Repeat what they said to you, or what they said to someone else in your earshot. Okay, repeat it out loud, and then just sit there and let that quiet take cold, so they can really face what it is that came out of their fucking mouth and take accountability for it. Even if that the only accountability is hearing it played back at them and realizing what the fuck they just said and did. We're not letting that shit fly anymore. Chariot in the reverse. That shit stops now. We ended it. 9 of Wands again. Remember the boundaries? We're stopping that shit because it's been too long. It's been out of hand for too long. And now it's time for the mama bears to fucking rein it in. This shit ain't happening. We're not doing that. We're not expressing that ugly behavior. We are not going to oppress one another. We are going to rise together. No more oppression. We rise. And we stand in the fucking power that was handed to us by the divine source itself, which is you, which is me, which is all of us, because we're all a piece of that source. And you cannot remove anyone from the source of all creation, because it's the source of all that is. Even your thought forms have a connection to source through you. Everything is of source, or from source's creations, or its creations. Nothing is not source. We all fucking rise together or we fall forever. That's the point. But we've already won. So we can't do the latter because we've already won. So stop sitting on your ass. If you want to be rewarded, if you want to reap that fucking rebalancing, reinvigoration energy, and you're gonna have to fucking speak out. You're gonna have to put your motherfucking foot down and make needs known. We're no longer going to stay silent to try to stay safe, because it's not safe for anyone right now, and that's by design. It's not supposed to be anymore. The shift is happening whether you like it or not. You can try to fight it, but ultimately you're gonna fucking lose, you big fat cow. Not any of you guys know that. So yeah, that's how I feel about that. And I will be spunky. I will be a fucking firecracker. I've embraced my shadow. I know I'll beat a motherfucker down if I need to. I have no problems doing it. Do I like confrontation? No. Do I pursue confrontation? No. But can I handle confrontation? Absolutely. Will I back down from a fight? Not ever. Not once ever in my life have I backed down from a fight. Not even when I was outnumbered by 6. Okay? 6 people on one of them being a biological male. And I didn't fucking back down then. Actually kept standing and fucking won that fight. Okay? So you will never, ever, ever catch me back down, because I don't give a shit. If I get my ass whooped, if I get close to unalive or worse, fine, but you're going to fucking feel it. You're going to have signs that I was there too. I touched you, baby, and you will never fucking forget it. I may be defeated at some point, but you're going to fucking bear the scars, okay? You're going to have to tell the battle story too, all right? And I'll fight dirty if I have to. I'll pussy punch a bitch, because I've done it before. So I know you guys are probably like, what is Rebel on? Because usually I'm more calm, more, kind and just and balanced, but this is me being all of those things in my warrior fucking era. Okay, now is the time for warriors. This is when we all show what we're made of. We have all been warriors across many, many, many countless lifetimes. You might not have been one yet in this life. Maybe you have. I don't know your life. But when you're called to action, show them what you're fucking made of. I've been practicing being more authentic around 3D mindset, especially with the truth. I don't care what they think of me anymore. I love that, Anna. Thank you, Katie. Thank you, Suzanne. I love the rebel in all of you too. But I got a mouth, I'm going to use it. And I'm fighty, okay? I told y'all I've been fighty my whole life. This is balanced fighty, okay? I don't just fight for no reason anymore. I fight for a good reason. And that's because I love Gaia and I love all of you, all who inhabit her. Yes, even the misguided ones, even the, you know, the unlovable ones, I love them to an extent. I don't love what they do. I absolutely do not think that they belong here anymore. And if they must exist here, I believe they all should be imprisoned for life. And I'll tell you why. I've told you guys that I don't believe that all pedos or rapists or anything like that should be killed. I believe that they should be imprisoned. I believe that they should be made to attend programs constantly, showing them the grief of what they've caused, getting to, you know, deep down those emotions that they have some fucking where. I don't care if they're sociopaths, narcissists or not, somewhere in there is their humanity, and I want that fucking touched. I want it poked and prodded every single day. I want them to feel the misery of the grief that they've inflicted on their victims every single day, and putting them to death and letting them cross the, you know, to spirit is not going to do that. Yeah, they'll have their rebalancing later on, but I want them to feel every single bit of it now. I want them awake, I want them alert, I want them alive to face repercussions for those actions. Okay, it's not because I'm siding with, oh, the humanity and the light that they might have inside of them, they should be allowed to live. No, it's nothing cutesy like that. I want them to feel it. I want them to have no other way out. I want them to have no escape from the horrors and the atrocities that they've inflicted so easily upon others. I want them to get every single sense of that before they get to the life review process, and they really get to that in itself is a punishment. Hi, a question. I love you, Anna. Thank you. You're being authentic too. I love it, Katie. You are always authentic. You are always lovely and beautiful. Yes, Amy, I'm listening. I'm giving you some time to type out your question. We have a guest over on YouTube, you guys, suggesting we're streaming to YouTube and to Facebook. Most of our people are on Facebook, so the comments and everything are not always going to be seen by everybody because they are streaming to different platforms. So I'm just going to give Amy a few moments to ask their question, and then I will let everybody get back to the rest of their day. It did go over today. Today was a big, long, powerful session. Anybody else have any questions while we're waiting? We're waiting patiently. No pressure, Amy. Now I'm in the waiting space. I want to know if my produce business can make money. Oh, okay. So this was a collective reading, but for your question specifically, I'm going to definitely answer. And you're in California. I'm from California. I'm from Bakersfield. So fellow Californian, yes, your produce business can and will make money if it is handled in an ethical and sustainable way. Okay. You can absolutely get the message out there, like by using social platforms, social media platforms like TikTok, like Facebook, marketplace type stuff. You know, you can definitely get people behind you to get yourself more visible, more seen in that way. It is more difficult now with social media platforms to really be able to be seen, especially with everything going on right now. But what is needed, what is called for moving into this new way of existence, once these systems of oppression are torn down, we are definitely going to be needing those who can farm and produce food, especially in ethically and sustainable ways. I know in California, from being born and raised there my whole life, I know that there are agricultural practices in California. There are some organic based farmers and things like that, but most of them are like Bolt House or like Driscoll's or like these huge corporations that cause, you know, cancer to people in the surrounding areas because of the poisons and toxins that they use on the produce itself and in the whole growing process from fertilizer to finish. So Yes, especially as we're moving into this more, um, you know, more intentional way of existing as a human race, we are definitely going to need people like you who create this, our food supply, especially with, everything with the soil and with everything the food supply is facing at this time. Yes, you absolutely will be able to be fruitful from that. It's a wholesale produce business. Even better, yes, even better. So continue doing what you're doing. You might have some ups and downs as we're navigating this really difficult period in, it's hitting the collective, it's hitting the entire earth plane at this time. So yes, it will definitely be able to be fruitful. But you may have to tweak some practices, because the environment and with the crazy weather and things, you may have to pivot a few times. It may be a difficult path, but ultimately, yes, I am getting the sense that it is going to be very fruitful for you. It is going to be something that is a legacy for you, something that you can, be known for and leave behind, hand down to others, whether that's direct biological relation to you or not. So yes, I would encourage you to continue that business and really get yourself out there, get, fruit vendors out on the streets, or produce vendors out on the streets, set up a roadside, whatever you can do. I know the laws in California with regard to that are kind of sticky. So just continue to forge your path, and it will open up for you. I promise you that. So yes, I hope that helped, Amy. Thank you so much for joining us. And if this resonates for you, please subscribe. I go live once a week right now. It's every Sunday at the same time. It's 2 p.m. Mountain Standard Time, which is what I'm on right now, which is 1 p.m. Pacific Time. So for you, it'll be 1 p.m. every Sunday. So I hope that you will continue to join us. And I want to thank everyone for your support. And you're so welcome, Amy. Thank you. Thank you. Have a beautiful rest of your day, you guys. Have a beautiful week, and try as best you can to ground yourself and navigate these crazy ass energies, because shit's going to really start popping off June and July. Okay. So take care of yourselves. Take care of one another. Mwah, I love you. And I'll see you guys next week. Bye. Ugh.